What's up, everybody? My name is ClayDoh, and welcome to the recap of winter. To finish off our first year in the valley, let's get right into it. So, day one. As a season starts, normally you would plant stuff, and that's exactly what I did. I planted my powdermelon seeds that I got from fall. Then, I decided to give Krobus his birthday gift because he is awesome and deserves every gift imaginable. I then completed the craft room bundle, leaving one last room left to complete, being the bulletin board. I then ended the day by planting some more wild winter seeds and trees I bought from Pierre for the greenhouse. At the start of the second day of winter, I went to the newly found quarry after completing the bundle last night and seeing the Junimos fix it up and completely cleaned it. I then went into the little secret cave and acquired the golden scythe, and finally I just mined a little while and got some iron. Pretty good day and lots of rewards to go with it. On day 3, I harvested some of my crops in the greenhouse to make a little profit. I also went to Marnie's place to adopt my 2 new cows, meat, beef, and steak. And finally, I began Mr. Quee's quest before finally getting stopped because we don't have any of the crops necessary to continue the progress. So, you know, it is what it is, I guess. On day 4, I wanted to buy the remaining crops that Mr. Quee wanted from me, so I did that and bought them from Sandy, but since I was in the desert, I decided to stay there for the rest of the day. So I went to the Skull Caverns, and I made it to level 28 before heading home for the night. On day 5, I was getting tired of getting these bad luck days, so what I did instead was set a to-do list for a perfect luck scenario. And I ended up having perfect luck that day, so I guess we used that to-do list anyway. So I went to the Skull Caverns, and I found an auto petter. I've never seen it that early in any of my time playing Stardew, but it was awesome. And after 47 levels and 33 iridium, I ended up getting knocked out by iridium slimes and having my second kidney stolen by Harvey to end the day, so ouch. After saving this long for it, I went to Robin's place to build a stable for my horse on day 6. I also installed the auto petter inside the coop with all my chickens and bunnies. And I also completed the Enchantress bundle at the community center. And then for the rest of the day, well, I just did a little bit of fishing, as one does, of course. To cap off the first week of winter, Pierre met me outside of my house to smack talk the JojaMart, which I agreed with since they scammed me in spring. I still hate them to this day. I then did my daily farm activities before going to the Skull Caverns for the rest of the day. I ended up making it to level 42 and collecting 28 iridium before ultimately passing out in the mines at 2 a.m. On the 8th day of winter, my true love gave to me the Festival of Ice. So after chatting it up with everybody, we started the main event, fishing, my specialty. I easily smoked the competition and won the grand prize before Lewis decided to take my fish and return them to the ocean. No, I wanted to sell those, but whatever. I didn't make any profits from that, but I did get the grand prize, so I guess it was kind of cool. Worth. I woke up on day 9 determined to catch the legendary glacier fish. And after a few attempts of trying to catch it, I was able to finally reel it in. And for the rest of the day, I kind of just fished because, well, I'm already fishing and trying to catch the legendary fish, so why not make the most of it and make as much profits as I can? It makes sense. On day 10, I wanted to do a little bit of future-proofing, or projects that I wanted to get done that I'll really benefit from year 2. So what I did was, outside of the sauna, I brought up 30 seeds and planted that many trees. I also went to the quarry and cleaned it up just to get some more resources spawning there. And I also opened some geodes at Clint's place, and then for the rest of the day, I just went mining. A good day though, not gonna lie. The 11th day was very simple and basic, and maybe a little boring? Nah. What I did that day was going to the mines to catch a lava eel specifically, and after a while I did manage to get one. And then for the rest of the day, I just went to the ocean and fished. A lot of fishing today, but that's okay. On day 12, the wizard requested a void essence that I was able to bring to him because, I have plenty of them in reserve. There's no reason to not give him one. I also went to the desert to feed the bone dragon. And after that, I went back home to complete Mr. Quee's quest line. And between some of my logs in my house, there was a little key card. Not really sure what that does, but I guess we'll get to it later. Then for the rest of the day, I went to the mines to collect bones to complete Gunther's special order. On day 13, I took a brief break from mining bones and went to go participate in Squidfest. Because, I missed the first day, so I don't want to miss the whole event. I managed to capture 10 squids and got all the rewards from the event, including a pretty awesome squid hat. And then since I had a little extra time to kill, I went back down to the mines and hunted more skeletons for bones. On day 14, I wasted absolutely 0 time going to the mines and completing Gunther's special order. I also fed the statue in the secret woods the sweet gemberry that I was growing and got a star drop from it. And to finish off the day, I went back to the mines to collect some more iron. On day 15, I only had 2 goals in mind. Complete the community center and prepare for the Skull Cavern. I started first by preparing for the Skull Cavern since that was the easier thing to do. I started by crafting all the bombs I'm going to be taking with me and grabbing all the food that I'm also going to be eating if I get low on health. And after only 99 days on the farm, I was able to fully complete the community center. And for the rest of the evening, I enjoyed my time around the night market, watching the mermaid show, and fishing in the submarine. Today was the 100th day on the farm, and I had a very big plan because of this very special episode. I wanted to reach level 100 in the Skull Caverns. Before going to the desert, I enjoyed the reopening of the community center with the rest of Pelican Town and had a front row seat watching Pierre defeat Morris with a single punch. After that, I went to the desert and began my plunge into the caverns. Despite starting later than I wanted to, due to not having a warp totem, I was somehow able to reach level 101 in the Skull Caverns. Mr. Quee also met me at level 100 and gave me some strange liquid that I drank without a second thought, so... I mean, it boosted my health. I guess I can't complain because of that, but man, that was weird tasting. On day 17, and after completing the community center, Willie wanted to show me a special project he's been working on, so I decided to lend a hand and help him repair his boat. I fished at the beach while waiting for the night market to open up later that day, and once the night market opened, I spent the rest of the evening fishing in the submarine. While fishing down there, I finally caught that octopus that I wanted earlier in the year when it avoided me throughout the summer. On day 18, I went back to the greenhouse and harvested all of my crops and those star fruits, but I didn't sell the star fruits just yet. I wanted to save them for their eventual transformation into wine, which won't be for a long time because that keg shed is nowhere near completion. But then I went to Robin's house to see what was required for the next upgrade to my house, and after realizing she wanted hardwood, I didn't go through with it, as all the hardwood I'll be collecting for the next while is solely for Willie and his boat. I then went to the ocean and just kind of fished around for the rest of the day. I woke up bright and early on day 19, ready to go to the mines to hunt for frozen geodes specifically so I can collect an ocean stone, the last required mineral for the museum. I also had plans to open my geodes at Clint's place, but of course he wasn't home today, so I just went to the mines. While mining, I almost ran out of energy, and while going to the sauna, I met the wizard who had a quest for me. And I figured I could just start that tomorrow. So after resting for a bit in the sauna, I went back into the mines for more geodes and iron for the rest of the day. On day 20, I could do something that I didn't get to do on day 19, and that was go to Clint's place to open the geodes since he was actually here. So I had even more geodes for him because I got some yesterday. After meeting with Clint, I stopped by Krobus's place and he opened up a pathway for me to collect a talisman for the wizard. After collecting it, I went to the mines for the rest of the day and looked for more geodes. I mean, what else are you gonna do? On day 21, I was able to turn in the last dwarf scroll to the museum, and now I can finally talk to that dwarf in the mines. I then went out to use the talisman to open up a pathway to the witch's hut, but was met by the henchman who wouldn't let me pass. So I just fished there for a little while and caught a void salmon to add it to my collection. Then I went to the sauna to regain the rest of my energy, and after mining for a little while, I stopped by Krobus's place and bought a void egg to turn it into void mail before I went to bed. On day 22, I brought my newly made void mail to the henchman so he would finally let me into the witch's hut. I then grabbed the magic ink for the wizard, who was grateful enough to allow me to use his new magic book for new various and powerful buildings that I can add to my farm later. Of course, they are not free, I have to pay a lot of money for them, but whatever, I mean, it's some kind of good thing that came out of this whole thing. But for the rest of the day after that, I kind of just did some fishing. Day 23 of winter was Leah's birthday, so I made sure to plan a bunch of things that she would enjoy. So first of all, I gave her the birthday present that I had for her, some nice, crisp, crystal fruit wine. I then went all around Pelican Town foraging everything and digging up all the worms throughout the place. I didn't really find any artifacts, but I did get a lot of plants, I guess, and I did level up my foraging to 10, so I mean, W with that. I had also stopped by the quarry to clean it up and ready it for the next batch of rocks and minerals that would spawn there. And yeah, that was pretty much it. Day 24 was a very unique episode, and it was for exactly one reason. This was the first episode that I retroactively changed the to-do list entirely because of a quest that I forgot I was working on. I was just going to fish today, but I remembered Clint's quest, so I switched up at the last minute to go hunt for bats instead of just fishing. For the entire rest of the day, I was in the mines hunting those winged freaks, and at the end of it, I ended up with 18 out of the 50 bats I needed. On the 25th day of winter, it was the Feast of the Winter Star, Stardew Valley's technical Christmas. So, other than giving Leah and Abigail their gifts, there really wasn't much for me to do that day. I did receive a very nice Nautilus shell from Caroline during the feast, and at the end of the day, I sold it for a bit of extra cash. So, thank you, Caroline, for your very thoughtful and slightly expensive gift. The first thing I did on day 26 was go to Willie's place and finish giving him the rest of the materials he needed to get his boat repaired, and that will finish overnight. After that, I went to the mines for the rest of the day to slay bats for Clint's quest, since bats made the mines very dangerous for the normal people. And obviously not Clint. I ended the day at 42 out of the 50 bats slain for Clint. Sorry, the normal people, not Clint. As the year was winding down on day 27, it was a simple day as I only had a few things to do before the last day of the year was here. I went down to the mines to slay those remaining 8 bats for Clint. I also went to Clint's place to open all the frozen geodes that I'd collected, and finally got 1 ocean stone to turn into the museum, completing the collection of minerals for the museum. And finally, I prepared the farms for spring, even though they'll most likely be covered in debris on day 1, or whatever. Day 28, the last day of the year. I just played things pretty simply to wrap it all up. First, I went around the farm in Secret Woods, collecting all the hardwood around the area, since Robin needed some for a quest. I also bought a portrait of Leah from the traveling merchant, since I figured I probably had enough money for it. I caught an albacore for Gus at the saloon, and for the rest of the day, I just went fishing and took it in for the last day of the year. Thank you everybody so much for watching this recap of winter, and of course, thank you for watching the One Day at a Time series. I look forward to starting year 2 with everybody, and it's going to be a great year ahead. Bye!